So you got the mouth of the South, the man without a plan to master all your disasters, coming to you live from the meet and greet of Pierre Poilievre. And today I'm doing a little pro bono for Maverick Multimedia out there, where freedom and expression are what we're all about. I'm going to get some interviews for some people here. Is that the mayor of Windsor? He's gone conservative? Oh, looks like him. It's not. What's your name, sir?
Graham Scoyne.
And what's your biggest concerns with the politics of today?
How Trudeau is taking away our freedom of expression with Bill C-11. Just the way he's ruined the finances of the country. And also there's the firearms issues.
Firearms issues? What about taxes?
Taxes? Oh, of course.
Are you finding it hard to live in this country?
Well, it's certainly getting harder. At least I have a job that I can have a living wage, so, which is good. But I notice, more and more is coming off my paycheck, taxes, and now we've got the carbon taxes going up.
Carbon taxes going up?
Yeah.
Well, I'm one to speak. I make over $100,000 a year, and when I only have $1,000 in my bank account at the end of the year, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
It's got to get fixed. Now, you said something earlier to me that I'm all over the news all the time. Apparently, this guy just made it clear that John Tory of Toronto, the mayor, has resigned due to a sexual misconduct thing that was going on in his office.
Yes.
What was going on?
He was having an affair with a staffer, a junior staffer.
Was it a guy or a girl?
No, it was a woman.
It was a woman, surprisingly.
John Tory is 68 and she was 31.
John Tory, 68, and he was having sexual encounters.
Well, at least John Tory had the integrity to resign. That's something Trudeau should have done a long time ago with all the scandals he's been involved in.
Well, I don't think John Tory has any integrity, period. But if he didn't get caught, he wouldn't.
That little piece. Yeah, you're right. He got caught. That's
it's probably his wife was going to clean him out. And that's what happens when you want to screw around on your wife, right? So John Tory is resigned. This is interesting. This is breaking news to me, and then probably a lot of people are going to be watching this. Well, thank you, sir. Great interview.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to keep moving on. Well, look at this guy. You're on TV. A lot of people are going to watch this little girl. She's smart. She's smarter than me. She's already speaking French. So she's got one up on me. Well, this fella here, I've known for years, and I just seen him here. Tell the viewers what your name is, sir.
Ken Hoskins.
Ken Hoskins.
Yeah.
And I was at this guy's wedding way before his daughter was even born. Now, what's your biggest concerns with the Liberal government?
Oh, geez. Where do I start? Basically, being separated and stuff like that. Pushing separatism. What else? I don't know much about these 15-minute cities, but that's a kind of concern what's going on in the world there, around in Canada anyway.
Well, Ken,
I'm here to fight for this little girl.
If you want to learn about 15-minute cities, become a Maverick member.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you'll be able to see. We're going in right now, and there's a lot of people here. A lot of people outside. There's a big lineup. Hey, what's going on? How was the gun show yesterday? So I shared your video on Maverick Multimedia yesterday of the interview with Pierre Poilievre at the gun store on Eugenie Street. It was a great video. Everybody liked it. And you broke the story because it was almost live, right?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't go live, but
right. Yeah, I got it. Pat, you know what? That was some good work. And I know what your concerns are with the Liberal government, but we're going to talk. I'm going to get an interview with you. Oh, how you doing, Aunt Nora? So, Pat, what's your biggest concerns with the Liberal government?
gun ban.
That's gun ban?
Yeah, gun ban and be able to keep some money in our own pockets.
Exactly. I'm going to grab my seat here. Let's grab a seat.
Perfect.
Let's get a front row seat.
Appreciate it.
Oh, I'm sorry. People are fighting for seats. I just got knocked over. I almost got my ass kicked for a seat. So we're going to keep going here with the interviews with Pat. This is Pat Malosh. He's a gun advocate. I watch all his videos. He's a great shooter. He's a sportsman. We don't call him weapons. We call him what? Tools?
Yes.
Tools. And he's a hunter, an avid fisherman. He's all about everything, right? Free speech. Now, the tax part you're talking about, right? People paying too much in this country and not getting anything in return.
Carbon tax.
Carbon tax.
Oh, yeah. Carbon tax.
Shit like that he could own.
Personal property. You know, you're trying to take our personal property away.
100%.
You know?
Well, it only makes sense. I'm in a tax bracket right now that I'm making over 100 grand a year, and I work a lot of hours to get there just to put food on the table like every other Canadian in this country. And I have nothing to show for it at the end of the year.
I'm in the same boat.
You're in the same boat. No, I know. I'm not alone. It's a big boat. It's like the Titanic, and it's sinking fast. Right? So what do you think Poilievre's going to do any different from Trudeau?
He's a pretty honest man.
Free honest man? I just want to know where the money's going to come from to fix the problems that we have, because it's going to cost money, right?
Yeah, there's going to be some cuts, I'm sure.
I hope it ain't austerity measures like they did in Greece, I think it was, a couple years ago, where there's a run on the banks and everything else.
Right.
Hopefully we don't have to go that route, right?
We're in a big mess.
We're in a big mess. Undoubtedly a huge mess, like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So, just to give you guys a bird's eye view, Trudeau's not getting support like this at all. Hey, man, what's going on? I got to get an interview with you and many others. So, Trudeau, if you're watching, okay, this opens at 12:30, and there was a lineup at 11:30 out the door, and I was in that lineup.
Juanita.
I'm going to give, hey, ma'am, Yvonne, would you and your husband like these chairs right here? Okay, there you go. You're going to get better seats than me. This is Yvonne. She's a conservative supporter.
Yes, sir.
And you can have my chair. Here you go, sir. Thanks, Pat. So I'm getting the show here.
You are you?
I'm trying to. How you been, brother? So what's your biggest concerns here? You're going to have to take a seat here.
Well, yeah,
Just for a second.
I don't know, Leo. I mean, hopefully we can take out Mr. JT out of here, right? And,
That's the goal, right?
that's it. I mean,
And do it civilly,
Oh, absolutely.
non-violently. Like I hear a lot of people want to go to the extremes to get rid of Trudeau. I'm not there, and I'm never going to go there. I'm all about peace, love, and happiness, and everybody in this room is too, or you wouldn't be here.
yeah, exactly. I mean, hopefully this, hopefully he wins the election, and I mean, build this country like it was before, right? I mean, that's what we need: positive thinking and unite, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, I want to get down to asking him just a basic question. What would he do his first move as Prime Minister of Canada? I think his biggest move would have to be to cut the carbon tax. If you cut that, then everything starts coming back, right? When truckers can't afford, and I deal with a lot of truckers every night at my shop, when they're paying $1,000 for fuel to get from point A to point B, which is our goods and services to keep us alive, okay? Somebody has to pay for that on the tail end, and that's us, the consumers. And there's zero consumer protection for anybody in this country. But the government can jiffy up a law in a hurry to seize bank accounts and take away people's rights. But it doesn't protect the consumer, like me or you, when it comes down to the basic thing called food. Food is a lifeline that we need, right?
And that's the thing. We need to unite and get this monster out of here, right? I mean, that's the only thing. once we unite and get a backbone, then we can go forward.
Right. See, I was on the hooks with Maxier Bernier and the PPC. Okay, but it backfired in the last election because there was a two-sided party of the Conservatives. You had the PPC. Now, I'm still in favor of Max Bernier, but I am voting for, obviously, Pierre Poilievre because I want Trudeau gone the democratic way through a vote. And if Poilievre doesn't do the right thing, well, then it's time for Maxier Bernier to step in, right?
Well,
Rumors. Don't spread rumors.
No.
Rumors.
What kind of rumors?
Rumors are saying that there is no benefits that the taxes are paid by the truckers because they've got to pay extra for fuel when they get it back on a rebate at the end of the year.
That's something I didn't know. Now the viewers are going to know. So the truckers get a rebate back on their fuel tax, okay, the surcharge and everything else at the end of the year, so they get to claim it.
That's why they have IFTA stickers on their trucks. You know anything about IFTA stickers?
No.
It's all about the fuel tax.
It's all
You
about
gotta buy
the...
a sticker for your truck when you run out of the provincial guidelines of the area of Ontario to operate there.
Wow. I did not know that.
Well,
There's a lot of things I don't know.
That's why I mentioned to you. You shouldn't spread rumors.
Well,
Because you're not informed enough.
yeah. Well, I'm trying to get the information from everywhere, right? So,
Oh, okay.
and I hear about 15-minute cities, and I don't believe in that shit either,
I just don't
right?
want you to hear people asking questions and making statements and they
Right.
don't know what they're talking about. So,
Right. Well, you're informed, my friend. Thank you. Let's get around here. We got a pretty big crowd here. What do you think?
The question you should be asking, what's happened with all the money that the fuel tax and the heavy tax is paid every year from every trucking that's on the road?
Yeah, what happens to that tax money?
It just disappears. It goes into the government and it never gets put out like it's supposed to.
Well, it goes to Ukraine,
Yeah.
places like that, right?
Yep.
So I'm not about, when we're having a problem just feeding our families in this country, everybody better wake up. And if you look around here,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
and this is just greet and meet.
Yep.
This is for everybody. If you signed up, you got in.
That's right. I need to know.
It's a full house.
It will be.
It will be. What time is it? So we still got another 15 minutes. And like I said, at 11:30, there's a lineup out the door here. So you're seeing support, a lot of support. When do you think they're going to call an election?
Yeah. Yeah, I was here at 11 o'clock.
And how fitting, this is the Canada room at the Cavoto Club.
Yeah, which is one of the larger rooms.
When do you think they're going to call election? When's Trudeau going to have to call an election?
Tomorrow would be nice.
That would be really nice,
It
eh?
would be really nice. Because you know what he's doing in this country?
Is not good at all.
Everybody's expecting a spring election, so
Well,
you can see him campaigning. He says he's not campaigning, but he is. Freeloader was here last week at Rico stamping, and she didn't even know why she was there.
Right.
I seen the video, and they were asking her questions she couldn't answer. What are you doing here? The basic question. What are you doing here at Rico today? Well, I'm supporting women.
no, she's not.
Yeah,
No, she's
they're not supporting nothing.
No. If anything, they're looking to see what they can steal away.
100%.
That's just the way they're doing things. Like, Trudeau will never be what his father was. Like, I got no faith in him.
Yeah, I've lost faith in them too. You couldn't even legalize marijuana the proper way.
Well, come on now. You want to give that to the criminals. You don't give that to the people that's going to do something for the country.
That's right.
It's steal all the time. When Pierre was talking about coming in and doing this, about Prime Minister, I talked to him for quite a while on the internet,
And I think this has been a good thing, and I'll tell you, you got my vote. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
Like he says,
I was
do so much.
Liberals used to be good once upon a time.
You're right.
Do you agree with that?
Yes. At one
Herb
point
Gray
they were.
days, Howard McCurdy.
Yep.
Okay, they used to be a decent party.
That's right.
It's gone now. I voted Liberal 2015, and I'm ashamed of it. And I
Yep.
should apologize to everybody in this room for that.
Yeah.
And
The Liberal Party nowadays.
Yeah,
It's gone to the toilet.
the whole core of the party's toast in my eyes.
Yep.
Like, share, subscribe. Here we go.
That's the same reason why people after Trudeau thinking of actually investing in the youth, investing in his own pockets, his own life. Like, but they just affecting us. He's raising taxes for that stuff. Talking about his agenda, his country.
This is a pretty big crowd for Windsor, folks.
Leftist ideology.
And they just keep coming in. But mainstream media will say only 50 or 60 people showed up. Right? So don't believe what you hear in the mainstream media. Get your media from Maverick Multimedia, The Rick Walker Show. There's other places. Get all the information.
What you're going to do is go to Facebook Go Live, and you'll see a lot of the video feeds that come right from here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Who wants to listen to Trudeau's?
Yeah. Well, I did the Ottawa trip twice last year, and I was at the Ambassador Bridge supporting it, right? And about the mandates and all that stuff, yeah, I get it. But I was down there for the cost of living and everything else, right? The little guy's struggling out there. And that was last year at this time. And I predicted Canada to turn into a type of Venezuela state. I said that 3 years ago, and we're into year two. I said in 3 years, Canada will be like Venezuela. It'll be worse.
I figure pretty soon he's.
Yeah, he's going to put up his own wall. The liberal wall.
Call this place home. Say this is our destination. You're writing a constitution. You're writing a manifestation we want. We need to define ourselves. We're reaching 200 years.
So we're going to get over here. Excuse me.
We don't have anything to show for it.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Leo.
Yeah, I know, I met you, you know.
I know everybody.
Sorry photo.
It is.
We're at, I remember seeing you at your brother Rick's funeral.
Your brother Rick's funeral. Me and Rick were like brothers. He's my mentor, Rick. Rick Photo. Taught me a lot of things, how to be a man, too. The right way.
Right on.
So what's your biggest concerns with the Liberal government?
I've got lots of concerns.
What's your biggest one?
Right now, this digital ID thing that's coming in, if you don't have it, they're gonna, you know, the inability to do your own banking and get health coverage and stuff like this. It's insane.
Are you retired by any chance yet?
Yeah.
So how's the struggles being on a pension?
It's been okay so far. I worked for a good company, Bruce Power, up north. And
Oh, the nuclear plant?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly.
Pension. We're doing okay, but I mean, this threat to start keeping people from accessing their own money or health care or whatever, if you don't move forward with this digital ID, that's a big concern to me. So.
I know. I could. I'm always constantly getting bombarded online with the QR code. Add it to this and that. And I'm going,
It's the way they're going, and I don't like it. I mean,
yeah, they want to get rid of money.
It's fine if you want to go that way, but to bully people into getting it by threatening to remove their access to different things, that's not the way. Definitely not the way. It might be true this way, but...
What about the cost of food? Are you finding it tough to survive?
Well,
Tougher?
not because I'm fortunate, but
Right.
I can see how it could be for some people tough to survive, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you put away when the times were good.
Yes.
Now people can't even put away, right? Did you hear what happened to John Tory last night?
John Tory? No.
The mayor of Toronto?
Yes.
Got caught in a sex scandal with one of his staff members who was 30 years younger than him, and he resigned.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so that's big breaking news out there. That's huge. I didn't hear that till today either.
Wow, you just told me, so...
That's what I mean,
They're
yeah.
going to fill this place. I think we
Yeah, this place is getting jammed.
needed a bigger hall.
I gave up my seat to an elderly couple.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you.
My back's still good at 52, and my legs are good. My mouth just keeps running, baby. I'm not going anywhere. I know you.
I know you well.
Everybody knows me well.
Oh, yeah, we know
Is this your daughter?
Leo, right?
Yeah.
See, Leo. Everybody knows Leo.
Yeah.
Is this your daughter?
Yeah.
Boy, does she ever look like Rick?
And her son, Leo.
You think?
Hey,
You think?
looks like Uncle Rick.
Yeah.
You're a photo.
Yeah.
Daryl, if you're watching this, am I related?
Not Leo, no.
No,
Leo's
no.
a good friend of Uncle Daryl.
Your Uncle Daryl was like my brother, and your Uncle Rick was like my dad. So he must be coming through this way, eh?
He is. That's why they keep asking us to leave this clear.
Leave it clear. Free and fair, leave it clear. So what's your biggest concerns with this government? Spending. How are we going to get out of debt? Do you have an answer?
Yeah. Stop spending.
Exactly.
Stop giving everything away.
Right.
You know,
Actually, government's got to change. It's got to change big time. There's a lot of different places that they can save money that people haven't looked at. Like you take, for example, okay, they provide drugs for the elderly. Okay, I'm talking over-the-counter drugs like Tylenol, stuff like that. I'm not opposed to that. However, they give them money, they give it to them freely. So they would just go in and a pharmacy will issue them Tylenol for free. However, if you ask them to get that money reimbursed, to buy it up front, the older people will not spend as much money on it. They get more than they need because they can't.
Huh.
But, it's just one program that could be changed. Another program that needs to change is the child benefit, the child backs benefit. I have a daughter-in-law who's lived off the system all of her life, and she makes $4,400 per month in baby bonus for 4 children. And that's absurd. That's more than we make on 2 incomes.
She clears 4,000?
She clears $4,400 a month on baby bonus.
Wow. I should have some babies.
And I have
I'm 52. I still got a couple left in me, honey, if she's watching. That's big money.
It is big money.
That is. The healthcare's crumbled. The justice system's
The justice system
it's
just out
gone.
of control.
It's out of control.
It is. And as for healthcare can be managed so easily. It just needs more put into education. If we did free schooling for anybody who qualified for med school, we'd have more doctors. If we did free schooling, and I know that this seems atrocious, you're looking at, what is it, $100,000 a doctor? But when you look at the billions that he spent putting people up in hotels for COVID quarantine, I mean, we could have had at least, 30, 40 doctors out of that?
That's awesome.
Right? I mean, these are all things that could change, spending the same amount of money as he's spending now. And I could spend less money and save the government a whole whack of money and the taxpayers a whole whack just by changing certain things around. Not necessarily cutting any programs, but changing the way that they are run and the way that they exist as they exist today.
Big waste of money. And when he wants to start giving billions of dollars away to Ukraine for a war that we don't have an appetite for, I don't personally, okay?
Now,
to a country that's full of
ex-military here.
Yeah.
I totally agree that we should support the Ukraine. However, having said that, I believe that we should support it with Canadian troops. We should be paying Canadian people to support the Ukraine.
We should not be sending over brand new armored units that we are purchasing at billions of dollars of expense.
So support them how? Like through a GoFundMe?
No, not necessarily through GoFundMe, but more through like medical field operations, field hospitals
sure.
that are run by our military.
Yeah, we used to be a peaceful nation. You being military, right? And we used to sit on that stage of world peace with, I hate to say the UN, but the UN. My brother's a military guy, right? So he's part of the NATO program. And we were a peaceful nation once upon a time. We're not so peaceful anymore.
No, and there's other places like when something happens, and let's take the earthquake in Turkey for example, right? I'll guarantee you the Prime Minister's going to throw out a shitload of money at it.
I think he's going to throw out more money in Turkey than he did in the West Coast for the flooding and the East Coast hurricane.
My thing is, don't throw the money at it. Pay Canadians. Okay, so Turkey needs to be rebuilt. Let's send construction workers from Canada. Let's pay construction workers. Pay for them to go over there, pay for them to stay there, pay for them to help build the cities.
That's right.
Then it's going into Canadian pockets. It's not going to foreign countries. It's not going to some CEO at the top of Red Cross who's making $600,000 a year. That's the problem. That is the problem. There's so much bureaucracy in the aid departments that it's not getting to the little people. It's not helping the little people. So let's help Canadians. And let's put our Canadians in the field and show what Canada is. Canada is spirit. Canada is helping. Canada is loving of other countries.
That's right.
We need to show that, not throw money at a situation because it doesn't help it.
What rank were you?
I was a corporal when I left.
What unit?
I was in the medical corps.
Oh, medical corps.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was a combat medic.
My brother's a dragoon. He's in the armored division up in, it's in Barrie now.
Wings,
Pardon?
I did get my airborne wings.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, with the Canadian Airborne Regiment?
Yes.
The now dismantled the Canadian Airborne Regiment from Petawawa?
I'm in my 50s.
So, yeah, they were from Petawawa. I'm in my 50s, too. I know all about the airborne unit.
Yeah, I did take a training course with the airborne. I didn't go airborne, but I did take a training course with them.
Mrs. Corporal, thank you for your service. And you too, sir. Great interview. You might have the best interview of today so far. Unless I get Pierre on here. We're trying. Oh, well, you never know. He might want to hear from the mouth of the South. Yeah, you know what? I'm going conservative for the first time in my life.
I'm hoping it's an omen because I should.
Do you want
need an armor's hand.
Yeah, you want a child? Yeah.
Kind of hoping this is going to be an omen.
Yeah.
This little guy over here has met Pierre Poilievre. Went up to the nation's capital with him.
Where's this? Hey, you met Pierre already?
I have. I met him in Ottawa and I represented him in the House of Commons.
And what's your name, little man?
Stephen Zolway.
You're from Windsor?
I'm from London.
Oh, London. Oh, nice little travel down the highway. Wow. So what did you think of Mr. Pierre?
I think a lot of things. I think that he's fixing the economy. I think he has a good goals on how to fix it. I think he has a good plan on how to get Trudeau out of office. And I also think he has a good plan on how to keep Canada the way it should be.
That's right. How old are you?
I'm 11 years old.
Kids, look out for this guy. What's your name again?
Stephen Zolway.
This guy might be the next Prime Minister of Canada someday.
I already said that.
You're on the right track, kiddo. No, thank you. I'm going to shake your hand. That was a good interview. You're going to go viral.
Well, thank you.
Awesome, guys. Like and share. Subscribe to the Mouth of the South YouTube. You'll see it on Facebook. I got a huge following on Facebook. We're breaking into YouTube. But this is the crowd. If you're just looking, mainstream media will tell you there's only 50 or 60 people that showed up here. I beg to differ.
I'm guessing 1 to 2,000 at this point.
Yeah, a couple thousand, yeah. I'm dying for a beer since it is a conservative party. I'm going to conserve on beer. Yeah, I'm waiting for it to end. I'm going to go to the bar in the back.
One for me is why it's all backed up.
It's past 12.
It's backed up outside?
It's all backed up.
Yeah.
So it's backed up on Tecumseh Road. You know what? Which way are we facing here? That's Tecumseh Road here? Or? Oh, watch this. I'm going to go out the window here and take a look, guys. We're going to move the curtains. Because this place is getting packed, really packed. And it should. I'm going to take a look out the window here and see what we could see. Yeah, I can't really see from here. Oh, excuse me. Maybe we could see from here. Well, this place is getting packed, folks. So it is what it is. A lot of unhappy people with the current government at hand, me included. I don't see Dave Cassidy here.
One, maybe. The other little one.
And I gave up my great seating like a good conservative to an elderly couple.
Hang on a second.
So now I'm stuck standing tall. So Justin Trudeau, if you're watching, this is the small fringe minority part of it. A small part of it. The bigger part might be in Ottawa next weekend, I hear. You can see that on Parliament Hill.
Trudeau's truck stop 2.0.
Hey, the what?
Trudeau's truck stop 2.0.
See, that's right. You got that right. So what's your biggest concerns with the Liberal government?
Where to start?
Where to start exactly? They've basically given away our national sovereignty and
our pension.
Our pensions, yeah. You may see some of it. My generation, healthcare will be a thing of the past. Pensions will be gone.
Yeah.
Canada won't be Canada at that point if things continue on the way
Yet
they
if you
are.
took your pension money that you put in all this time, even at your age, and you invested it yourself, you would retire with about $700,000.
I'm going to interject, okay? I make 6 figures a year working. I max out Canada pension at $3,300 or $3,400 a year now. When I first started working back, 33 years ago, it was only $350 a year,
right?
Okay, for Canada pension if you maxed it out. Now I'm paying 10 times that amount, but the pension plan hasn't gone up 10 cents.
And that's what I mean. But if you invested your own money, instead of paying it into that pension plan, you took it and you invested it yourself.
Yeah.
You would retire with about $700,000.
That's right.
Our Canada pension is investing in all this ESG bullcrap now too.
Oh, yeah.
Which is all about environment and has nothing to, which it's not really about environment.
And if you
know,
really
it's
wanted
about
to
lining
help,
the pockets of the elite.
Well, when you see the
it's funneling our money to companies that are going to lose. Their stock values are going to plummet. That's why people that know what's going on are pulling out of all these ESG forward companies. Right now.
It's funny you said the environment. When you see the Americans in Canada being complacent, standing next door to the Americans, blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, okay, and we're talking about the environment. What kind of environmental dangers has that caused? Okay, not only the aquatic aspect of that part of the ocean, but the carbon released.
okay, so while we're talking about environment, let's talk about the fact that Canada is the only country in the world that clears its own carbon. That not only clears all of its carbon, but also clears part of the United States as well. But we are the only country in the world with enough trees to do that.
Yeah, trees suck it. That's
calculate the trees into their
right.
equation.
It's basic science. The more trees you have, the less carbon you're going to have.
Our Prime Minister stood up once and said, hey, wait a second. Canada's the only country that clears all their carbon. If I was prime minister, that would be the first thing out of my mouth when they started these Paris Accords and they start jumping down the throat of Canada and saying, you're one of the biggest polluters. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not
We
with
are
35
the
million people.
country in the world
You
for
need
clearing the
to point back at China and India and say, look, you have the biggest population and the worst environmental programs because you don't have any environmental programs.
And until they implement anything.
In India, they dump their garbage right into the
water.
Yeah, the Ganges River is 1,000 times more polluted than the Detroit River, 10,000 times than the Detroit River.
China doesn't have any environmental controls. If they want to build a city and there's a mountain there, they'll level it.
Yeah.
If there's a river, they'll fill it in. They'll do whatever they need to do.
But I'll give China some credit. They're pretty fast at building 15-minute cities.
Oh, yeah.
Overnight.
And not to mention, they're also good at building, viruses and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, it all come from Wuhan, all right? The problems we have today all came from Wuhan, folks. The $450 billion he spent recklessly.
And all of our environmental problems
on
China and India.
I want to know why China has a police force in Canada and in the U.S. They have
And 6 police stations.
Wow.
That's so that they can police their people that live in this
And
country.
do you know our government hasn't once yet shut them down?
Oh, no. They'll shut down a pot store that's given all the money to help feed the homeless. I know a guy like that. Yeah, me. Okay.
They arrested some kid in London because he didn't feel that transgender is a thing. He's a child. He's a teenager in high school. And he stood up, and because he's religious, he believes there are only
I've seen that.
genders.
Hey.
2 genders, male and
He's only 16 years old.
And they arrested him because he stated that there were only 2 genders.
Yeah, but you see the segment in mainstream media he got? Not much.
Nope.
Okay? Because they don't want people to find out. Here's a 16-year-old kid who's now ejected from school because his religious...
Because of what he believes.
Right, his religion.
The whole woke movement is supposed to be what people believe.
Right.
Right? So if you've got somebody that identifies as something else, then that is their opinion. So if you can have your opinion, then why can't this little boy, young lad have his opinion and say that there are only 2 genders?
Have you ever heard of Rick Walker?
No.
Okay, you're from London or Windsor?
I'm from London area.
Okay, Rick Walker has a show called Maverick Multimedia. Okay, subscribe to it on YouTube, and he plays every day at 6:00 p.m. Okay, and it's very informative. Okay, and he's from your neck of the woods. He's an ex-CTV reporter that came on our side a while ago.
Okay.
Okay, that had enough of the mainstream bullshit, lies, and everything else that comes with it. He's a good guy. Check out the show. He's got a lot of people following him, right? But you'll get it all there, man. It's all he talks about is the issues you guys are talking about right now, right?
Well, I can't leave this country to my kids, my grandchildren. I can't.
But we...
Yeah. I mean, I'm petrified they're going to turn out like China or Korea, even worse, North Korea. And my children are going to be at the point where, they're going to be told what to think. And if they're not told what to think, if they happen to speak their mind, which unfortunately my children do, they're going to be arrested. They're going to be, tortured. They're going to be maybe even assassinated.
You never know. As I told you, my brother's 33 years in the military, still there. He's been on tour to Bosnia. He was in Somalia, Afghanistan a couple times, Cambodia, demining. Okay, he's been all over the world. Now, if he had PTSD and he called the 1-800 Let's Get helpline, automatically, let's euthanize you. Oh, you served in Canada?
Both
of you. Oh, I didn't know. What rank were you?
I wasn't a civilian contractor.
Oh, nice. Oh, you went after the money, honey, didn't you?
Actually, I didn't. I was
Because the military don't pay.
I felt safer there.
You were paid to lease?
I felt safer there than I would in downtown Toronto on a Saturday night.
Yeah. Hey, you felt safer in Kandahar City than he did in Toronto on a Friday night.
I walked out my office, there was a sniper on the thing.
Well, you get in the wrong spots at Toronto. You get...
had loaded weapons on the base.
Yep.
It was only when they went off that they loaded their weapons.
That's awesome.
So, but we still felt safer there.
Yeah.
With rocket attacks than I would have in Toronto. It's just simple.
Wild. I did not know that. That's, you know what? And my brother has stories that he don't want to get into, right? And I don't blame him, right? What happened over there in Afghanistan. It was a waste of money, and at the end, look at the way they pulled out. Right?
But we follow the Americans.
Yeah, we follow the Americans. Well, we might as well I stated yesterday, I felt bad about stating it.
But, you know,
We might as well become Michigan.
My job there.
Because the road to Canada don't start where you're from, London area.
No.
So Windsor should just de facto over to Michigan.
I'm not sure you'll want that either.
I don't want it either, but I don't want what we have right now. And I don't want to see Canada become Haiti.
No.
No, but I find that most people in Canada don't understand Canadian politics. They're more worried about what's happening across the world.
Oh, it's a mess over there.
It's crazy. But how does that, it affects us, but indirectly.
Trudeau and Biden, they're both in the World Economic Forum.
When I found out that U.S. politics intervened on the convoy on the Ambassador Bridge last year, I have a problem with that.
Yep.
I do.
He could have stopped that whole thing.
He could have.
All he had to do was go out on Parliament Hill when the truckers got
No,
there,
all he had to do is come out, and the police could have said, "Hey, either move your vehicles or we're towing them, okay? And you're getting a fine." 90% of the people that were there, 98% of the people there were law-abiding citizens like myself. I would have left. I wouldn't have taken a fine. They didn't even come out with the option.
Nope.
They came out with the
Yet Trudeau went out and
injunction.
kneeled down during Black Lives Matter, and that was very violent.
Oh, you know
But
it.
he didn't have a problem getting out there and kneeling down for them.
All he had to do was spend 5 minutes with those people.
But, you know, the
Come out,
truckers did no
acknowledge.
damage, no nothing, except maybe a little bit of
Acknowledge that he understood what they were going through, and they'd have been happy. Really, all you have to do is acknowledge somebody.
Right.
I'll tell you, if there was natives out there doing that protest, he'd have been out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, if it was Black Lives Matter, the border would still be shut down.
Well, you know, now we're white, so we're nobody.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. And a lot of people are feeling the resentment. I want to see a peaceful solution. I want to see a peaceful solution. A democratic way of getting rid of Justin Trudeau is by voting. And I think these people have had enough too. I could sit here all day.
Far enough into our laws, we have some kind of impeachment deal.
Yeah. Well, you can't even move in this place.
You just have to find somebody who knows the laws that well. I guarantee you there's something in the law that can take it out.
Well, he's broken enough laws, right?
It's an interesting point you say about a democratic election being the fair way to get rid of them. You don't even know about the legitimacy of elections anymore. Right?
That's crazy.
Money talks.
Money talks?
Money talks, and it seems they can put whoever they want in power. So, I don't know.
It's pretty crazy. You're onto something there.
Even the
When you-
municipal elections, they're using Dominion machines for that now as well.
Yeah, when you use the Dominion machines to count votes, it's not a thing about voting anymore, folks.
How about Freeland sitting on the board with the World Economic Forum as she's the finance minister, deputy prime minister?
And she'll have that job after politics too.
Clearly defined conflict of interest.
Oh.
How do we have sovereignty when she's serving globalist interests?
I'd like to know how a prime minister goes from making $350,000 a year with the $10,000 trust fund to having $350 million in the bank in 7 years. I'd like to know how you get rich that way. I'd be all over it.
It's the Jerry Diaz way.
The Jerry Diaz way.
They all know how to do it.
Are you an auto worker?
Yep.
Are you? A Stellantis?
How about the 41% raise they want? How about the 41% raise they want?
Oh, they all want raises. Yeah, good luck.
5 years they want 41%.
So you work at Stellantis. I seen a video yesterday of your union president, Dave Cassidy of the 444 at the gun range, General Gun Store. And I thought it was odd to see him in the mix because
Definitely.
he is a liberal.
He's a liberal capitulator.
100%. I was hoping Dave could have been here so I could interview him on why they let 300-something workers go from Chryslers over the vaccination when you're the union, supposed to be fighting for the rights of your damn union.
Well, we've been asking him
Membership.
the same question for over a year now. But it's okay. He doesn't want to deal with it. We're dealing with it on our own.
Are you?
He's going to find out soon that he should have done stuff about it because
And you vote.
he failed to represent his members, and that's well documented.
When's your next vote?
I don't know. He's not my president, but I am technically kind of controlled by their negotiations to some extent. I'm in a different local.
Yeah, you know what? His days are numbered too, like a lot of them, right? Got to get out and vote. I don't care if you're voting at the Union Hall, voting on the federal, municipal, whatever you're voting for provincially. You don't like the current state, get out and do your part. If Trudeau's watching, hey, this is just a meet and greet. This is not the conservative.
Just a few people.
Just a few people.
7 to 10 people.
Yeah.
That fringe guy, the fringe group.
The fringe minority, about 7 or 10 of us.
The fringe. Probably a dozen people. That'll be the CBC headline tonight. A dozen anti-Trudeau protesters show up.
A small
My son
group.
walked around in a sweater that said, "We the Fringe" for like months.
A small group?
A small group of county people in.
So you guys drove down from London?
Small group
Wow.
of traders.
That's a nice haul.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, we're in West Lauren. We're about,
West Lauren, yeah.
we're right in between Canada and Canada.
Well, that's funny. You got to check out Rick Walker, Maverick Multimedia. Okay, I'm doing a little pro bono for him right now. He's from your area, Chatham, Kent. He's a local guy, down to earth. Freedom of thought's everything, right? Freedom of speech.
We're allowed to have that now?
Well, that's what we're fighting for, right? Our Section 2, Charter of Rights, peaceful demonstrations, the right for assembly.
Did you follow that inquiry at all?
Oh yeah, every second of it.
So
I was mentioned in it, but they had the name wrong. I gave a statement to the Associated Press. I said that there were people ready to die for the cause at the Ambassador Bridge, and that's what the mayor used in the injunction at the inquiry was my quote from the Associated Press. So
I just thought it was funny at the inquiry where they cherry-picked the people that had a negative view of the convoy being downtown.
Yeah.
There was lots of people that had a positive view and a good...
They were told the inquiry was full.
Yeah. They were all
You
told
had a positive view of what happened in Ottawa. You were told the inquiry.
if I would have known they were going to put my name and they spelt it wrong, they went LUCI Luciano, some mafia name or something, right? If I would have known they were going to do that, I would have been at the injunction because it was a bunch of bullshit and it was lies.
The checkbox about, how you felt about things. And none of them said, did you feel good about the truckers, did you feel safe? Did anybody do anything bad? It was all bad stuff,
Right.
Did you feel negative about it? Did you get hurt by it? Were your feelings hurt? Was your property trespassed on? And stuff like that. Those are the checkboxes on
Oh, it's brutal. Just brutal, man. It was nothing but lies. And now if you're paying attention to the inquiry, the results come in here around, what do you know, next week? Isn't there supposed to be a gathering up in Ottawa on this coming Saturday, next week? I think so. Toronto's having one. The 18th. So will that judge, I call him, what was his name? Douche.
Friend of liberals.
Yeah, from family of liberals. Don't expect anything solid coming out of that ruling.
No.
And when that happens, the party just got 10 times bigger. See this? This is nothing, folks. They're lined up outside. Hey, PDS. I can't really read the comments in here. I can't really read the comments up in here.
My glasses.
Yeah, you want to watch your video? Subscribe to Mouth of the South on YouTube. Mouth of the South, the man without a plan, the master of all your disasters. So I thought it was pretty funny, Dave Cassidy. Anyways, back to Dave Cassidy. The guy who threatened to, actually, it was in the inquiry, he threatened to bring 1,000 of his CAW goons, we'll call them, down to intervene at the bridge.
Cracking skulls.
Yeah, cracking skulls, he said. And this is a union leader. We're going to crack skulls. Little did Dave Cassidy know that half those guys at the bridge were part of his membership. So I lost all respect for Dave Cassidy and the mayor of Windsor. Okay, I'm still on the fence with Ford, but you know what? I haven't heard anything about Ford, so no news is good news for Ford. That's a fact.
Well, Ford's in a different boat. The union failed Ford just as much. The union failed their members at Ford just as much as they failed them at
No,
GM
the Ford
and
government.
Oh, Doug Ford. I'm
Doug
sorry.
Ford. I haven't heard any news from Doug Ford.
We're still talking about the big three there. It was the membership at Ford that saved their jobs from the mandates because they had enough balls to stick up for themselves.
Yeah, Ford stuck up for the membership the way it should be.
You're a union guy, though, right? You're in a union.
Unfortunately.
What do you think of the public service unions? Do you think they should have the same amount of money that... Like, I think they really need to look how the public service is broken down. Because a lot of governments will come in and say, okay, we're going to make cuts to the public service.
Right.
So they cut guys that are in the front lines, the line workers. They don't cut the management because management
Unions are bad, Digger. They used to be good and they used to work for the people. Now they're just working for themselves. Things have changed since the Buzz Hargrove days.
Making the cuts isn't going to affect himself, right?
That's right.
They want to take the money from the...
Toyota almost pulled out of Canada because they didn't want a union. And when their voters came 51% to get a union, Toyota almost pulled completely out of Canada. They said if they brought in a union, Toyota would pull out.
Supervisors.
I don't blame them.
Toyota to this day still does not have a union.
Yeah, unions are just another tax on the people. They don't support the people the way that they should, the way that they used to. Yeah.
They take care of their people. They're very good to their employees. And, you know, without a union, they work better with the employees than they do with
Well, I grew up on union money. My dad worked at Chrysler's for 40 years almost. And I grew up on that CAW union money. The unions were good back then. You know, the days of Lee Iacocca are over. And we're getting into this electrical car crap that nobody really wants. But they're trying to force the shit down her throat, right? I'm not buying what they're selling me. I'm waiting for little Jacob to get here. He's 6'6". He can hold the phone up.
You need to be 6'6", standing back.
I know, I'm 5'8". I'm 5'8" in front of the muscle. So he's a little late. It's past 12:30, and I got to go home. Joking.
Nuts. Like to Joey. Like to have them back for the old trip. And that flat section.
It's getting warm in here.
How could it be warm in here? There's only
Yeah, mainstream media is going to spin it, like I said, 50 people that are here. That's 50 people every 5 feet. Yeah, I've lost my faith in mainstream media. Yeah. what's his name from CBC? Rex? Remember Rex? No, back in the day, Rex Murphy. Those days are long gone for the CBC. The Don Cherry days are long gone.
Well, you're not allowed to tell it like it is.
I know you'll get canceled. I might get canceled for showing this many people on a conservative meet and greet.
I just need you to back up. This morning, actually, if you wanted to come here.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt that. I was so lucky to find a breakfast.
We parked over there.
It's jammed.
I went right to the end of the row, right to the end. With a little tiny spot.
And if the Liberals are watching, this is just a little taste of meet and greet. You can't. You gotta have 2,500 subscribers and 1,000 hours of watch time. Facebook Live will work. Yeah.
I've been banned so many times.
You can hear a pin drop in here, folks.
Yeah, you can.
And you got the mouth of the South, the man without a plan, the master of all disasters, coming to you live from Caboto Club, Windsor, Canada Room. There you go, sir. You might want to flip it around.
Last time I was here was for a ratification in the aircraft. Thank you.
Look at this. He's packing in the house, folks. All across the country, everywhere he goes, people want to hear it. So like I mentioned before, if you're a Liberal supporter or NDP, get off my social media. I don't want to hear your shit anymore. And if you vote for the Liberals and if you vote for the NDP, that is a vote for the Liberals, and it's vice versa. And the Greens are not even in the running, so it's slim pickings, folks. If you want Trudeau gone, this is the only option. But if he don't keep his word, there's another option, PPC. The Dominion machine? Yeah. I'll tell you what, if Trudeau slides in somehow, it's 100% fixed. And this is the next Prime Minister of Canada right here, folks. What's your name again?
Stephen Phillips.
Okay, Stephen Phillips. Vote for him in 2040.
Here we are again. I think it feels like a little while. Not that long ago, we were in Windsor, and we asked for a couple hundred people to show up, and about 800 or 1,000 showed up. And so when I spoke to Pierre, he said, "Chris, we're going to come down to Essex, Windsor. Want to hear what the boots are on the ground, what people are feeling, what they're seeing, how they're hurting, and how we bring home. Can you get a few more people out to people out to the rally?" And I said, "Let's see what we can do." And of course, in typical Essex Windsor fashion, you all show up at the right time. Never been so excited, so happy, so energized, so proud to stand with a person that genuinely cares, a person that wants a better Canada for the lives of everyone. I want to first and foremost introduce my colleagues that are joining with me today. The Member of Parliament for Cleanleo, David Epp. Yes! The Member of Parliament for Lambton, Kent, Middlesex, my bad, Leanne Root. And of course, the legendary Member of Parliament, Marilyn Gladue from Yes! From the very beginning, friends, the very, very beginning, Peter's message to caucus was always, get out to your communities, listen to what the folks have to say, and bring me back their hopes, their dreams, but greatly their trials and tribulations. I need to understand what's happening from coast to coast to coast. And I will tell you that basically every week, National Caucus gets an update of what Pierre's doing and where he's been. And he is literally been across Canada. But he did say, he said, "Chris, I'm coming down your way." I said, "Why are you coming? Why are you coming to Windsor?" And it was much different than the answer that the Deputy Prime Minister gave on Monday.
She had no idea what she was even doing in Windsor.
The difference in his answer was really simple. "Chris, I want the folks of Essex Windsor to know that Canada does not stop in London."
Uh-oh.
And so with that, friends, one last time, I'm going to thank each and every one of you. You continue to blow my mind, blow my colleagues' minds, the amount of support, but I understand that it's not that hard to show up on a Saturday afternoon for the next Prime Minister of Canada, our leader, the man with the heart.
Awesome. Awesome.
Wow, what a great Windsor crowd we have here today. Right, Canada doesn't end in London. You have to come all the way down to Windsor to hear the common sense of the common people.
Your mic's messed up.
Mike again.
I think it's a CBC mic.
Yeah!
Look at this crowd, incredible. It's great to be here in Windsor. This is the place you come to get the common sense of the common people. The hardworking backbone of the nation is right here in Windsor. Thank you very much for that kind introduction from your hardworking Member of Parliament, Chris Lewis, fighting for the people here. You know, Chris, we got Leanne, we've
got Marilyn Gladu, engineer, Dave. When I first started off my career, I needed some mentorship. I was getting a little bit of trouble, making a few comments, but without thinking, young guy, we know everything in the world there is to know, and we want to tell everyone about it. And I was getting myself in a little bit of trouble, so I went and saw Dave, and I said, Dave, can you give me some political advice? And he sat me down in his office, and there's a big fish on the wall that he caught. He said, Gary, you see that fish? If he kept his mouth shut, he'd still be alive. I didn't listen to his advice, but I thought it was a great story anyway. But it's great to be here to re-kick off our campaign to axe the carbon tax to people. The NDP and Liberals want to triple the tax on your heat. They want to make it even more expensive for you to do the basics of life, but we're fighting back. Not only are we going to stop them from tripling the tax, a Poilievre government, a conservative majority government will keep the heat on and take the tax off for people in Windsor and right across this country. So that you bring home more of your paycheck. We'll cut Trudeau's wasteful spending to bring down the inflation that is bankrupting our people. But speaking of keeping the heat on, boy, is it ever warm in this city.
It's warm in here.
Hot. You have no, you got a hot flash. You're making me blush. Oh my goodness, you're going to get us in trouble here. In Ottawa, it's a lot colder. In fact, it was so cold in Ottawa the other day, Justin Trudeau had his hands in his own pockets.
There's a first.
He was really mad at me the other day. You see that? I said that everything feels broken in Canada. And he said he was drawing the line. I wasn't allowed to say that. Nothing in Canada is broken. Everything's just fine. Pay up and shut up. Stop all your complaining about food prices going up 12%. Stop your complaining about the carbon tax that he and the NDP are imposing on the working people of this country. Well, it's easy for him to think things are going well. He gave this speech where he was angry at me to a group of 2,000 Liberal lobbyists and consultants in Ottawa. And for the people in that room, everything's just great. It's just wonderful. The McKinseys of the world are helping themselves to an unlimited supply of your tax dollars. Lobbying contracts in Ottawa are up 100% since he took office because every business, big corporation knows that the way you get rich is by turning money into power and power back into more money. If you're in that room, you probably think things are just fine. You're rolling around Davos in a nice limousine with all your billionaire friends. However, there is pain on the faces that Justin Trudeau does not see. There is hurt in the voices he does not hear. And there is mayhem and suffering in the places he does not go. So let's tell Justin Trudeau a little bit about the lives of everyday people in this country. The people he forgets about, the people that live in communities like this one. I'm talking about the mothers who are putting water in their kids' milk because food prices are up 12% year over year. 1 in 5 Canadians have now cut back on their meals because they can't afford the cost of food after he put a carbon tax and high tariffs on the farmers who make that food. 35-year-olds live in their parents' basements. Let me tell Justin Trudeau about the mathematics of hopelessness. I met a 27-year-old CATSA worker at the security gate in the Toronto Pearson Airport. She said she scrimps and saves to set aside $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. The average house in Toronto is $1.2 million. It's doubled since Trudeau took office. So let's do the math here. For her to make a 5% down payment, having saved just $6,000 a year, $500 a month, $6,000 a year, 10 years to make a 5% down payment, meaning she'll be 37 years old and be worried about whether she can even have kids at that age. So she's calculating that not only can she not own a home today, she may never be able to own a home. She may never be able to have a family, even though she's doing everything we asked her to do. Working hard, following the law, spending responsibly. In other words, the exact opposite of everything Justin does, right? She's doing it all right. He's doing it all wrong. She feels hopeless because not only is today a hard time for her, but she sees no light at the end of the tunnel. You know, the great thinker Jordan Peterson said. Happiness is not being where you want to be. It is having a goal to which you strive every day and feel like you're making progress. But more and more people in Canada believe they're making no progress towards their goals. They're really moving farther and further behind. No wonder. 30. Yes, that's right. It has just been broken. That's right. And no wonder we have 30,000 people who died of drug overdoses. When you're hopeless, when you feel like there's no purpose or value in the work that you do, people sometimes turn to drugs, and those drugs lead to overdoses. 30,000 people have lost their lives to opioid overdoses since Justin Trudeau took office. These are the people that he doesn't think about when he's hanging out with his millionaire friends at Mackenzie, or when his deputy prime minister is traveling around Davos with all of their friends on the other side of the pond, right? So what does he do to try and deal with the broken country that he caused? Well, he can't fix what he broke. So instead, he tries to divide the people, right? He turns people against each other, divides us by race, religion, ethnicity, vaccine status. He tries to turn people against our law-abiding and licensed hunters and farmers. See, his theory is that if you're afraid of your neighbor, you might forget that you can't pay the rent. If you're turning against the local trucker that brings you the food that you eat, then you might forget that you can't afford your groceries. And that is his tactic, divide and distract. And he gets a lot of help from the NDP, right? You elected a Democrat here in this community, nearby community, to stand up for the people. The NDP has forgotten about the working people. They no longer stand for the working people, right? They stand for the elites. They stand for the big city, downtown elite. They stand for carbon taxes. They stand for legalizing heroin and
not cool.
They stand for justice. On the other side, there is an alternative. There is a better way. We as conservatives can turn the hurt that Trudeau has caused into the hope that our people need, and that is exactly what we are going to do.
Pierre, as Prime Minister, what's the first thing you're going to do?
We're going to axe the carbon tax to lower the cost of living. We're going to bring in a new dollar-for-dollar law that caps government spending. Every new dollar of spending we bring in will have to be met with $1 of savings to pay for it, so that we can phase out the deficit and bring down inflation.
What's the first thing he's going to do?
We will fire the high-priced consultants. He's doubled the amount of money spending on consultants in this country. Not only has the bureaucracy grown by 30%, he still can't run the government without another $15 billion of high-priced consultants to pile on top of the growing bureaucracy he already has.
Where's that
Remember
money
this Minister Mary Ng? Well, to work to her best friend. She has 100 staff already. Why can't she get her own staff to do the work? Well, of course, it's not work. The purpose here is to enrich their friends. When Poilievre takes office, we're going to cut the high-priced consultants and put the money back in the pocket of the hard-working people. We're going to get our central bank back to doing its core job, which is keeping inflation low, not printing cash for politicians to spend. Instead of creating more cash, we're going to create more what We're going to grow more food, build more houses, and produce more resources here in this country. This is how we're going to do it. Start with housing. Very simple how you bring down house prices. You build more homes, supply and demand, right? That's grade school level economics. We have the fewest houses per capita in all of the G7, even though we have the most land to build on. How is that possible? Well, because local government gatekeepers prevent construction, adding hundreds of thousands of dollars of extra paperwork costs to building each extra home. I'm going to require that cities get out of the way, lower the cost, and increase the speed of building permits as a condition of getting federal infrastructure money. I'm going to require every federally funded transit station to have high-density housing improved all around it. I'm going to sell up 15% of all the federal buildings, 37,000 federal buildings. Many will sell off and turn into housing.
There you go. That's a plan. That's a good plan.
You know something, Marilyn? You know something, Marilyn? It just warms my heart to think of the beautiful family pulling up in their U-Haul to their wonderful new home in the former headquarters of the CBC.
That's a better plan.
We're going to start respecting the trades again in this country, right? CEOs who get into first class on an airplane to jet around the world and attend meetings, they can write off the cost of their plane ticket as a business expense. But the tradesman and the tradeswoman who travels from Fort Mac to Newfoundland or from Northern Ontario out to Western Canada to work as a pipe fitter, a boilermaker, a welder, they can't write off the cost of their travel. How is that fair? It's not fair. But guess who came to the rescue? Your very own Chris Lewis with the fairness for trade. Regarding the Tax Fairness for Travel and Trades Workers Act into the House of Commons, and it gives the worker the chance to write off those travel expenses. And I'm announcing today that a Poilievre government will take the Chris Lewis bill and pass it into law and bring fairness to our regular trade. What's that?
Can I include truckers in those trades?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Who here respects and loves our truckers?
Yeah! Trucker love, baby! Honk, honk!
Absolutely. You have to thank, listen to it. If you like to eat, you have to thank the farmer. You also have to thank the trucker that brought you the food. That's how we're going to unleash the productive capacity of our country. It's not just housing them. We've got to get the red tape and the gatekeepers out of the way so that we can produce more of our own energy and resources here in Canada. This radical socialist agenda, which is attacking our oil and gas, our mining, our pipelines, our forestry, and every other resource in Canada, is acting against not only they're acting against our economy, they're acting against our national security and our environment, right? How much to help our environment to import 130,000 barrels of overseas oil every single day? And give our money away to the overseas foreign dictators who take that money and use it for human rights uses and pollution. Our energy and resource sector is the biggest source of income for our First Nations people, the rural communities across this land. But unfortunately, government gatekeepers stand in the way of us producing our resources. I went and met with some First Nations leaders from Northern Ontario recently. They want to mine the minerals that will go into the electric batteries that are built here in Windsor, instead of importing those minerals from abroad. Well, you have right here at home. You know we have the 6th most lithium anywhere on Earth. In 2021, we did not produce a single tablespoon of lithium here in Canada. Why? It takes 25 years to get a mine approved in Canada. Right? So instead, we drive electric cars with batteries that are made burning coal in China. What does that have to do with health? Right? So I said to these First Nations leaders, you want to mine these minerals, how's it coming? They said, well, we haven't started. We're waiting on our permit. I said, well, have you got shovels in the ground? They said, well, they don't even have a highway to get to those future mines. I said, why don't you build a highway? They said, we spent the last 6 years trying to get a permit for that too. We spent $50 million on permits, and we haven't yet been allowed to build a single meter of road. That's the gatekeeper.
That's disgusting.
Hold our people back and keep our First Nations in poverty. The quality of government is going to tear down that bureaucracy, get rid of the anti-energy law 69, speed up permits. We're going to build mines. Natural gas liquefaction proposal bill. What does that mean? The Germans have to rely on Putin for natural gas. The Japanese do as well. The Japanese Prime Minister, the German Chancellor came to Canada and said, can we have some of your natural gas? All Vladimir Putin instead. Send it back to Russia. Gas, we got shorter shipping distances to both Asia and Europe than our American competitors do, and turn dollars for dictators into pay. You have to get rid of the gatekeepers in order to do these things, right?
Yep.
I will never, I'll give you a very simple answer to your question. I will never allow the government to impose a digital ID. And then let people bring home more of their paychecks when we change the system, which now punishes work. No